Yo, live from a pile of words disappearing from the Trump administration, including black, DEI, diversity, female, increased diversity, and women. It's an all-new, terrific Tuesday edition of Business Pants, joined by analyst hole Matt Moscardi.
Hey!
On today's Men Who Have Sex with Men episode... Oh, wait, that's banned too.
No,
that phrase is banned. That
how
exact
dare
phrase. Men who have sex with men. What? Who made that list? What is that? I don't even know what's going on. The show is called... What's the show called? March 11th, 2025. Biz Nuggets today. Woo!
Ooh, I love nuggets. It's hard to be funny right now.
For any of you who are interested in some of the lame jokes at the beginning of the show, the New York Times has a piece out called "These Words Are Disappearing in the New Trump Administration." This is a report compiled by several of their reporters, so I'm not making this up. If you want to feel extra stupid and depressed, check out that article.
Don't worry, I will make it up later on.
Okay. Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFlowAnalytics.com, the only platform measuring board power connections and performance for free. And what I hear from the inside, Matt, is that the platform is constantly being improved, worked on, enhanced.
Well, let's say that the data is constantly being improved, and the platform. Look,
the platform is a bit stuck. It's stuck on Kash Patel. A picture of Kash Patel.
We're very friendly with the founders of Free Flow Analytics. If you're like a coder who wants to do something that could be important but doesn't need a lot of money to live, feel free to reach out to us. We'll put you in touch with the founders
or if you have a friend who
because right now this platform could be like 50 times bigger with all sorts of cool bells and whistles, but it's free. It's free, so it gives you the basics that you need. You look up every company, the data's updated. It's
maybe you have a nephew or niece or child who wants to flex their coding skills and add their experience to their resumes.
Yeah, maybe you have a subscription to ChatGPT and
I don't know what that means.
All right,
come on, let's go through some nuggets.
All right,
ready?
Nugget me.
Oh, we got a lot of nuggets.
I love a lot of nuggets. This show could be 70 minutes. It'd be fine.
Okay. I'm gonna start with a bunch of blowhards and tech bros. I guess it's the same thing,
I already don't
right?
like it. I don't like it already.
Apparently, he didn't appreciate the completely objective and unbiased phrase, "Jeff is a smelly and very mean, bratty, bald billionaire." Headline of the week. Washington Post columnist quits after article criticizing Jeff Bezos is shelved.
That is an objective phrase. He could be smelly and a bratty bald. He is bald.
And I know this columnist. This is Ruth Marcus. She's been around for decades. This is a pretty big writer. This isn't like a newbie out of the University of Alberta or anything. Just saying.
Well, she wasn't objective, so.
In our Jamie Dimon says, "Why be women always be bitchin'?"
Wow.
Headline of the week. Jamie Dimon says, "It's only people in the middle complaining a lot about return to office."
Really?
I think he's talking about women with children.
Definitionally, isn't most people in the middle? Or so he just said, isn't he kind of saying most people are complaining about this?
Here's what I think. I think he's afraid of the people at the lowest rung of society because he himself has, and we've been looking for this quote, but he himself has said to his fellow CEOs, let's not get too crazy because they're going to come after us one day with pitchforks.
He did say that, with pitchforks.
And I think he's friends with the people on the highest levels because those are his rich buddies.
Because he's a billionaire, yeah.
So it's the kind of the weird women in the middle who have children who don't want him to just arbitrarily reverse office policy. That I think he's most talking. That's what he said. They're complaining, Matt. The workers are complaining.
Did he say shrill? Did he say shrill?
She wanted something. She wanted to know why I arbitrarily changed my policy.
Oh.
In our Tesla board says, "Did you see last night's episode of White Lotus?" They're watching.
I did.
They're watching Max's big runaway hit, White Lotus. I guess
Yeah,
it's a fun thing to do.
I hear it's good.
Fun.
I don't watch it.
Headline of the week: Elon Musk said he's running his businesses with great difficulty as Tesla stock continues to fall.
Oh, is Elon Musk somewhere in the middle? He's complaining.
It doesn't, no one's paying attention on the Tesla board, so whatevs.
Do you think they throw up the W sign for whatevs?
Let's stay with Musk, unfortunately. And our Kimball Musk says, "Why would somebody hate my brother?" Headline of the week: Elon Musk claims massive cyber attack caused X outages. I mean, I don't even know if that's true. I mean, in the Elon Musk pantheon of companies, oftentimes it's his own ineptitude that's causing problems. This time he's blaming it. I guess he initially blamed it on the Ukrainians. I don't get that.
The 3 people left alive in Ukraine are spending their time hacking X.
And of course, he had no evidence to support that. He just sort of blamed Ukraine. But I don't know. It could just be the fact that he fired 80% of ex-workers and maybe things break.
Also, if it was the Ukrainians, are we upset about that?
No comment.
Is this...
In our He learned the technique by studying how Mark Zuckerberg treats his customers and investors. Headline of the week: Xi Jinping, that's the leader of China.
No, I did. Yeah, I knew that.
Used a human Chinese wall of soldiers to block eye contact between him and Mark Zuckerberg.
What? What?
I don't know.
What even is that?
I don't get that
headline?
one. I mean, I like it. Believe me, I like it. I don't really know why he didn't want to look at him. I mean, I kind of know why. But yeah. That's how Mark treats his whole empire, Matt. I mean, that's how he treats investors, his board, his customers. Nobody can look at Mark. Nobody can
Have you
talk.
ever seen like a bird after it hits a window and it's like dead on the ground and then you look into its eyes?
I don't do that. No.
I feel like that's what they're avoiding. That's what he used a wall of humanity.
Soulless Mark Zuckerberg. And finally, in my first section, in our blowhards and tech bro section, in our holy shit,
what?
I agree with something out of the Trump administration. Headline of the week: Cheap goods are not part of the American dream. Trump's Treasury Secretary says. I actually agree with something, Matt. I agree with the president.
I mean, let's contextualize.
Enough of the cheap shit. I agree.
It's from an administration whose prime leader sold Bibles, water bottles, steaks.
Not important.
It's true that it was not important to the U.S. economy or the consumer. All right, I'm going to do
over
some
for a while. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do some. I have it in 3 chapters. I'm going to do all mine. Okay, you ready?
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit back and enjoy.
Sit back and enjoy some true comedy. Chapter 1.
Lukewarm coffee is what I'm enjoying. Go ahead.
Chapter 1. Tesla is still a company. In our I'm sorry, we can't take this. It's been infested with Kimball Musk's ironic cowboy hats. Headline of the week: Tesla owners offloading their cars over Elon Musk backlash are in for a nasty surprise.
What's the nasty surprise?
I like to think that it would be Kimball Musk's ironic cowboy hats, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's that the price is they
Nobody
won't take
wants to
them.
buy them.
Nobody wants to buy them. They can't sell them.
You know how I know Tesla is still a company, Matt? Because they're on fire, like everywhere. They're literally on fire. The stock
like
price
real,
is on fire.
real
on
fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. It's not, I didn't start the fire.
What are you, Billy Joel? In our
I wish.
76% sales drop in Germany, 50% drop in China, 48% drop in Denmark and Norway, 26% drop in France. +1 car, bitch! Saved! Headline of the week: Trump says he'll buy a Tesla to support Elon Musk as the stock tanks.
Yeah, I don't. How does that gonna help?
I don't know. He's the one though. He's buying one.
Does he think the MAGA bros will all now go? I mean, good. You know what? If the MAGA bros like trade in their gas guzzling cars for a Tesla, fine. Let
an ironic end. Like
fine.
it's like if everyone
as much as I hate
MAGA
Elon,
movement,
fine. I don't care.
Like all the like MAGA, the entire MAGA movement, all bought Teslas.
Embrace electric vehicles. Teslas.
As the liberals sell theirs and buy other electric vehicles, didn't the electric vehicle win? It's like they won. We won.
Yes, Hyundai just announced that they're sticking to they're keeping their DEI policies. So the liberals will drive Hyundais, the conservatives will drive Teslas, and we'll all be a less stinky
Not
world.
only do we win, but we know exactly who you are. We don't have to ask anymore. We don't have to be like, are you a conservative? Like
Nazis and people who still say the word women.
There's just something so attractive about exploding rockets, dead monkeys, tunnels to nowhere, car recalls, and Nazi memes. Headline of the week. With the stock cut in half, Tesla investors want their CEO back.
Why? But why? Why do they want him back? Yeah,
Which
I don't know.
part of that did you want?
Yeah,
Which was the good part?
Yeah, I don't really get that part of it.
Yeah. Also, how fairies, unicorns, and leprechauns affect stock price. Headline of the week. How the Musk premium influences Tesla's worth.
Yeah, it's articles like that really do point out that there's no such thing as like alpha or meritocracies or it's all made up. It's all just hocus pocus.
I mean, the Tesla's stock has been a meme stock since 2020.
Of course. Well, there was a moment, Matt. Yeah, there was a moment like in the maybe 2019 where people thought, oh, maybe this is a pretty good car. It's possible. Before all the recalls hit.
Correct.
Yeah.
In 2019, for about 6 months, Tesla was a real car company making real progress on a real product with a CEO. And then starting in 2020, we ended up with a founder fetish for a guy who's really good at raising capital and really bad at running companies. It's shocking that anything ever happened at a single company he's ever worked at.
Yeah. It was also shocking to Tesla investors that other car companies might also sell electric cars. That was a shock to them.
It was a surprise. It surprised us all.
Mind-blowing.
I spent I was at a conference in London last summer.
Oh, look at you.
With asset managers, and one of the topics was like, how do you deal with outsized founders running and controlled companies? And they were talking really what they were talking in thinly veiled terms was about Bezos, Zuckerberg, and Musk.
Well, you can't do anything about Zuckerberg.
Oh, you know what you can do about the outsized founder where it's not a controlled company? I hear you could vote them out.
Well,
I hear that.
Okay, you can't do that with Zuck, but what you can do is you can eliminate dual class voting shares that give founders an inordinate control over the company. You can just flatly say, no, this is a democracy. We don't do that.
Could do that. You could, if they are already a dual class company and they don't want to change, or the founder has so many shares, you could vote out the rest of the directors. For instance, not electing the brother to the board. Someone in that room made the argument that having Kimball Musk on the board was good for Tesla to have someone to help control him. When you have professional investors.
Yeah, has that person ever met brothers, by the way? I mean, do they know or even like siblings? Do they know the concept?
I think they were an only child.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I think there are some employees available with government experience. Headline of the week. Elon Musk says he wants to double the Doge team's headcount.
What does that mean? Like more AI bots? Isn't everything being run by a bot?
Yeah, everything's run by a guy named Big Balls, isn't it? Like
19-year-olds.
But you just fired like the entire federal government. Like you want to double your. I thought you were the efficiency group. You just fired everybody. What do you? You need more people to fire more people? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Plus, there's plenty of talent out there now.
Can we move on from Elon Musk? Oh, thank you.
Chapter 2, the snowflake word police.
The snowflake word police. Okay.
Yeah. This is the second chapter. Clark Kent is definitely not Superman. Did you not see the glasses? Headline of the week. Don't call it ESG, call it resilience.
You have to help me with that one. Help me out with that joke. Don't call it ESG.
Like
call it
ESG
resilience.
is Superman, but puts on glasses. And we're calling it
Oh.
resilience. You got
I
it?
will admit, Matt, as a child, I never understood how they couldn't tell that Clark Kent was Superman. They looked exactly. I mean, first of all, it was the same guy, but
It's
they
the
looked
same-
exactly alike.
Of course, that's the joke.
I mean, he was like the best looking guy in the universe. So I mean, he was noticeable. I mean,
I love that when he put the glasses on, he pretended to be totally inept and a total dorky nerd.
yeah.
And then he takes the glasses off and he's like suave.
Yeah.
But the glasses, look at his glasses. Headline of the week. In Trump's new purge of climate language, even resilience isn't safe. That's a headline.
We can't say resilience either because that
They're
was
going
not
after resilience, too.
I will tell you, the resilience is not on the New York Times list.
You can say it. You
maybe
just
we can
can't.
add, or maybe we can add it.
We'll add it. We'll add
Do you
it to
think
the
the
list.
coders over there are capable of like adding something at this last second? I don't know if they're. Yeah, they probably delete. I see them like creating documents and then doing something, and then just deleting the document because it's done, right? They don't.
Yeah, it's
they don't
done. We're done.
store
We
any
don't need-
information, right?
We don't
I
need
mean,
that again.
no.
We're not going to ever reference it again.
No.
In our by order, please refrain from our manflake trigger words: climate, environment, governance, sustainability, woman, breast, noting that boobies are fine, bird, unless referring to a woman, gay, unless referring to Rudy Gay, the ex-NBA player, lesbian, unless they're like really hot lesbians, and all form of trans, including transgender, transportation, transformers, and transcript. Headline of the week. Trump administration directs federal agencies to scrub so-called woke terms from federal websites and communications.
Yeah, the Department of Defense is also doing this because you referenced the word gay, and they're scrubbing images in their archives that reflect, canceled words. All the words are canceling.
Possible gayness?
And one of them was to ban the image of the Enola Gay, which was, of course, the airplane, the military plane that dropped one of the bombs over Hiroshima, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, it is woke now.
To be fair, that plane was gay. It was having sex with other
having sex with
male
planes of the same gender as that plane.
Yeah.
We will no longer refer to them as earnings reports either, as earnings has E, S, and G in the word. Did you ever notice that? E, S,
No,
and
I
G.
didn't.
From now on, we will only release no to more ladies reports since it has the letters MERIT, merit.
Oh, wow. You really went for it on that one.
Headline of the week. Companies erase ESG from their earnings reports.
There you go. That solves things.
Done.
Yeah. Bunch of geniuses.
And finally, two more.
Yeah, come on.
Chapter 3, Humor is Dead. Here's a joke. How many research studies on a boss's jokes does it take to figure out if employees like them? Headline of the week.
Oh.
Bosses who think they're funny create emotional labor for employees, says study.
I'm thinking back. I don't think I ever had a boss that thought they were funny. I feel relieved about that.
Well, the good news is I did count all of the studies referred to in this study.
Yeah.
29 research studies on whether or not your boss's jokes are funny and how employees react to
Really?
it. Yeah, those are academics.
Okay.
That's what we're spending our time on.
What if your boss really is funny? What about the boss who thinks they're funny because they are funny? Is there a report on that?
I did not have a report on that. Apparently, there's no objective measure of funny merit.
So you
that
can't.
anyone's come up
Yeah.
with.
So you can't define woke. You can't define merit, and you can't define funny.
No, we don't. We don't have definitions.
All right.
And then finally, proving that humor is dead and
Yes.
juvenile is in our guy whose name sounds like colon joins board of company named after a body part size,
Whoa.
proving once again nominating committees cannot possibly be using data to make their decisions. Headline of the week.
Yeah.
My Size Inc. appoints Roy Golan to board of directors.
Wow, that's
magical.
a stretch. You
on.
really stretched that one.
That's magical.
Roy Golan. That's what you did.
I
you
actually laughed
colon.
out loud
You
when I
thought of
saw
colon.
that's how juvenile I was. I saw that.
Something's wrong
I giggled
with you.
out loud.
Maybe we need more of that because everyone I know is depressed. Maybe we need more like changing words into colon to help us feel better.
Everything about one's colon is a little funny, so go for it.
All right, I'll remove the humor from the rest of the show and I'll wrap up.
Wrap us up on the downest nuggets ever.
They tend to hog all those little creamers, and they do that thing with the pizza where it's like they don't take the next slice of pizza, you know? They rip that piece off and then grab the bigger piece, which
I hate that.
Which means they're just touching all the pizza and getting the better they're just gross. Sorry. Headline of the week. Qantas chairman warns directors of dominant CEOs in board search.
Wow.
I like that.
Wow.
Well, you never see board members talking about this stuff at all. This Qantas chair I think that he would like our data, frankly. The free flow
give us a call.
Analytics, right?
I also think he would take the next piece of pizza, not the bigger piece.
Well, I should have looked up in the database to see if the Qantas chair has more influence than the CEO because but it is Australia, though, where typically there's much more balance in the boardrooms.
Well, let's also be clear. Qantas put in place a
woman,
right?
Who apologized for
a glass cliff
500
woman.
years of sins.
She actually apologized for everything the Qantas board has ever done
and will do after she's dead.
Will do in the future. Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Speaking of the Qantas chair, I have another joke about the Qantas chair. And our Qantas chairman says it's best really to make no eye contact, to silence your breathing completely, and if necessary, crawl up into a small ball.
Okay.
Lower your heart rate and play dead for as long as you can. Headline of the week. Qantas chairman says business should not be woke or anti-woke. Just don't do anything. Just
what business needs to start doing?
Just don't exist. Just become invisible.
They need to form a human wall of Chinese military to avoid looking at the outside world.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
This is why one of my predictions was that we're going to see fewer and fewer companies posting the pictures of their executives and directors because they don't exist. They're just not going to exist soon.
They're not real. No, nothing's real.
And our L'Oreal says, I'm pretty sure I said cinnamon and not cancer. Headline of the week. See, cinnamon, not cancer. Headline of the week. L'Oreal recalls acne treatment on cancer-linked chemical.
Oh, they get that wrong every time. It should
How could they screw that up?
linked.
How did they screw that up? How do you not know?
Yeah, they both
Shouldn't there be
start
a
with
list?
C.
Shouldn't there be a database? Shouldn't there
Nah, Big Ball 69 deleted the data immediately after putting it
does
out
seem
there.
woke actually to check into stuff like that. And the other half giggled uncontrollably and then checked their email and then just sort of quietly wandered off. Headline of the week. Nearly half of energy executives think we won't reach net zero until 2070.
Where are the other half? Wait a minute. So you could flip this entire headline over and say more than half of energy executives think we will reach net zero before 2070.
Or just who cares? We don't. I read it like they don't keep track of that. It doesn't matter. Just get away from me.
See, I read it as if they're saying nearly half of executives think we won't get there until 2070, that implies to me that more than half of them think we will get there by 2070.
Remains to be seen. What do you think Darren Woods thinks?
I think he sued you just for saying his name.
In our HSBC's talk about dumb jokes. In our HSBC's managing director and global head of ESG solutions says, I appreciated it actually. The tag on my new t-shirt was bugging me and I couldn't quite reach it. It was a whole thing. Headline of the week. HSBC scratches top ESG banking role.
Oh, I see what you did. It's like the thing
they
is itchy.
They fired Farnham Bajoli, managing director and global head of ESG solutions. Matt, she was on maternity leave. She was just about to come back, and they fired her.
Wow, nice touch, HSBC.
Right? That's kind of classy, no?
Well, HSBC did spawn Stuart Kirk.
Yeah, I was
Remember
actually
that?
thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Back in the day, and that guy did work in ESG, and was a like flaming asshole about everything. Like said everyone's a climate alarmist, and so this is just it's on brand.
And finally, for Biz Nuggets, March 11th, 2025.
Thank
That's a
God,
lot of nuggets.
finally.
One more.
My favorite word, finally.
In our Berkshire Hathaway director, Howard Buffett, says he waited in his mother's womb for an extra 2 hours, despite the fact that her cervix was fully dilated when he was just an infant, to shake the stigma of being the owner's kid and earn respect. Headline of the week.
Wow, that takes commitment.
Yeah, here's the headline. In-N-Out's billionaire heiress. I'm going to repeat that. In-N-Out's billionaire heiress says she stood in line for 2 hours to land a job at her own store when she was just a teenager, to shake the stigma of being the owner's kid and earn respect.
Wow.
Aw. 2 hours,
2
Matt.
hours?
Wow.
She waited 2 hours?
Officially blue collar. Matt, if you wait for 2 hours for anything, you're officially working class. She did it. 2 hours.
When they saw that her name was Lindsay Snyder.
They didn't check the name. They didn't check her W-2s. They didn't do any of that.
Also pointing out that, like, so if you're running a store, you know exactly who the owner is, and her name is spelled like Lynsi.
Yeah.
There's like
But
no
Matt,
one on earth with
You're
that.
missing the point, Matt. 2 hours. She
was
waited
it-
for something. She waited.
Wait, don't tell me. Was it sunny out at least, or was it
Well, it's California,
cloudy?
right? I mean, isn't it always sunny?
Well, was it hot?
I mean, it's California.
That must have been brutal. I can't imagine waiting 2 hours.
But who knew that eliminates the stigma of being a nepo baby? Is just pretending to get a job at your daddy's company. Like that's
Where?
right.
I have so many questions. Where was this line? Was it inside or
yeah,
outside?
where was this line? Yeah.
Like, who else was
Are
applying?
people really
for the
waiting in
job?
line for 2 hours to get fast food jobs? What's the state of the economy in California, I wonder?
Did she spend the entire time in line wearing a hat with sunglasses on so no one would recognize
Kimball
her?
Musk branded hat
Like,
with a Mark Zuckerberg watch worth $300,000.
So many questions.
So many questions.
That's the Biz Nuggets for the day. That's Hazelnut Rallis. I am your analyst, Sol Mascardi. We are Free Float. Not to be confused with Free Float Analytics, who sponsors the show.
FreeFloatAnalytics.com.
That's the website, freeflowanalytics.com. Go get your free data. And seriously, if you're like a coder, you want to do something fun and you don't care about money, we are fun and we don't have any. So we're welcoming you with open arms. Come join us. We have another show on Friday where we wrap up the week. We've got a proxy countdown where we're talking about all the proxy contests. We treat AGMs like sports, get that. And we also have a show we produce for Mike Levin and Ann Lipton called Shareholder Primacy. They're real people.
Yeah, Ann Lipton, I think I see in the New York Times basically on the daily now. At least weekly. She's
literally the smartest person I think I've ever met. So go listen to them.
I don't see you in there.
No, well, I don't. Yeah, correct. You don't see me in there appropriately. That's all we got. Come back later. Till then, goodbye.